My name is Jonny Imerman. I was 26 years old, grew up not far from here in the Detroit area. Like most kids in the 20s, going to the gym, playing basketball with your friends, going on dates, trying to figure out your career, your job, what your life purpose is. And I felt totally normal, like most 26-year-olds, just enjoying life, trying to grow up, figure out what you want out of life. And one day, when I was in Ann Arbor, I was with 3 friends, shooting pool, having fun, hanging out. Typical Saturday night. I was actually in the gym that morning. Felt totally fine. All of a sudden, out of the blue, the most excruciating pain flipped on like a light switch. Thank you. The most excruciating pain flipped on like a light switch. What it felt like is someone literally took a knife and stabbed me directly in the left testicle. Excruciating pain. Again, I'm playing pool, hanging out. I dropped the pool stick immediately. I doubled over in pain. Physically couldn't stand up. And my friends looked at me and said, "Jonny, you can't even stand. We'll put you over our shoulder. We'll carry you to the car. We'll put you in the car, drive you to the hospital, figure out what this is." And a typical kid in the 20s, I looked at my friends and said, "Guys, I'm fine. I'll figure this out. It can't be that bad." In my mind, I thought it would be as simple as flipping a light switch to go to a doctor and just move past it. And I looked at my friends and said, "Don't worry, I'm okay." And I started limping like this out of the bar. And I limp all the way down the street to my car, get to my car, open the car door, I swing my legs up and in, only to realize that both of my legs are locked up in this sort of fetal position. And at that point, I'm almost crying in pain, but I'm alone, and I gotta get to the hospital. What can I do? I started doing the only thing I think I can do is start pushing on my quads, trying to get my legs to extend to reach the pedals. Minutes go by, finally get my legs down, able to barely touch the pedals and see and drive. Probably not that safe, but this is what happened. And I drive the car. Hours later, meet with a doctor, and I've got a doctor running his hands through his hair, looking in the eyes saying, "I'm sorry, kid, you're in your 20s. I really hate to tell you this, but you have cancer, and it's advanced." And what I learned quickly, it started in the testicle. It was testicular cancer. It spread from the left testicle into the pelvis, into the abdomen, behind the kidneys, almost to the lungs. I hadn't been to a doctor in about 5 years because I didn't think I needed to. I was in my 20s and I felt fine. And that is a really important thing for all of us to remember, to go in, get checked every year. If you find things early, generally people live. When things progress, sometimes people don't. But immediately when I found out it was cancer, and that's the situation I was in, we went right into treatments. Treatment started with surgery. We had to cut the left testicle out. There's no way to separate that from the cancer. Then immediately, I had to bank sperm. I had to learn quickly what that even meant, freezing sperm, so you can have children later if you need them, because most likely we're going to be sterile after the chemo. Then after that, I had a surgical implant called a port that was surgically implanted into my arm. It's about the size of a nickel, a little bit thicker, and that was my access point for chemo every day. I would come in every morning, about 7:30 in the morning, 8 o'clock, and about 8 hours of chemo, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, was every day. It was the first week of every cycle of chemo, which overall lasted about 5 to 6 months. Typical side effects on chemo: numbness in your fingertips, in your toes. I got ringing in my ears that was so loud sometimes I could see people's lips moving, and all I could hear was ringing. Things like cystic acne and rashes, dryness of the skin, obviously fatigue, and you're very tired. I went from a guy who worked out every day to not working out for about 2 years, not once. So as you can imagine, there's so many little things that happen so quickly that flip your life around. There's so many questions, so many unknowns. I truly believe the fear of the unknown is what scared people like me and so many people who have to hear those words, you have cancer. Now, when I was in treatments, and I had my mom, I had my brother, I had high school buddies that would come visit me at the cancer center. I had a couple buddies that were residents at the hospital who would stop by and see me. I had about 10 people around me during treatments. But here was a problem. When I took my IV pole and I left my room filled with good energy, and I would walk down the hallway and I would look into other rooms as I went to the bathroom. And you can't help but look in the glass. Who is behind these other panes of glass? Who else is in here? And what are they fighting? And what treatments are they on? And what I noticed every time I did this, every time I went to the bathroom, how many people were absolutely alone, isolated, depressed, and scared. And every day I would see them, and I would walk back from the bathroom and walk into my room filled with positive energy, and people telling me jokes and keeping me upbeat. I didn't have a chance to get down because I had family and friends. But the hard reality is so many people do not. Most people do not. And I started to feel guilty. And I started to feel this isn't right. And something needs to be done for these people who fight alone. And so one day as I'm walking to the bathroom with my IV pole, and when I walked back, I just walked into a room and I introduced myself and said, hey, I'm Johnny. I'm 26, got testicular cancer. I'm on these chemos. What are you going through? And the person perked up and said, oh, my name's Mike. I'm going through brain cancer. I just started treatments. This is so new to me. And immediately we connected. He opened up open arms to me. And what I realized over time as I did these walks is that I walked into other rooms, everyone had the same attitude, open arms. Come in, let's talk about this. What are you going through? What do I do about what foods to eat, what not to eat? How do you get rid of that numbness in your fingertips? How do you tell your kids or your spouse about what you're going through, your family? And instantaneously you're going to connect because of shared experience, because we empathize with each other. After I finished treatments, a group of survivors and I got together and we said, we gotta fill this crack in the system. There's a way to fill this crack. And what we've done, we came up with an idea to connect people who are isolated, like Mike, fighting cancer anywhere in the world, with somebody the same age, the same gender, who beat the same cancer at the same stage level, and one-to-one get these two in the same room. Sometimes it's physical, and it's that person at the cancer center face-to-face. Sometimes it's a phone call. Sometimes it's Skype. We help people so far in over 60 countries, in all 50 states. We've recruited a network of amazing human beings that inspire me every day, of cancer survivors and family members who've been there and are grateful to be on the other side and want to give back and share their stories of hope, of knowledge, encouragement, strength, and understanding. Because at the core, empathy is a motivator. As the awesome TED Talk speaker Brene Brown once said, when we're in life's crisis, or life's hardest points, the two most powerful words in the world are me too, me too. Imagine a world where anyone, anywhere, diagnosed with any type of cancer has access free access to another individual, volunteer, who wants to help them, who can say, been there, done that, beat it, I'm here for you, one-to-one. Imagine that world. Thank you.